Good morning. Thank you so much for joining me today. Let's get into the Word of God. Let's go to the book of Hebrews, chapter number 12, and we're going to look at verse number 1. Wherefore, seeing we also are compassed about with so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight and the sin which doth so easily beset us, and let us run with patience the race that is set before us. There's been somewhat of a debate between what the first part of the verse means, where it says, seeing we also are compassed about with so great a cloud of witnesses. Some people believe this cloud of witnesses are people who have gone on before us and are in heaven, looking down upon us, watching our lives, rooting for us, cheering for us, cheering for us to do the right thing and live for Christ. And then some people believe that this cloud of witnesses, it's just the people who are basically witnesses of our lives. It's everybody that we come in contact with. Excuse me. Like our friends, our family, our neighbors, our coworkers, acquaintances, our boss, our employees, and even strangers, like the clerk at the grocery store, the drive-through window person, the barista at Starbucks. The list goes on. It's basically anybody and everybody who witnesses or is a witness to our life. So I kind of tend to lean toward that. I don't believe this verse is talking about people in heaven. I think it's talking about people who witness our lives, people all around us, because it is indeed a great cloud of people who witness what we do, what we say, who we are, all those things. Nevertheless, though, no matter what you believe about that part of the passage, it doesn't really change from the message of the passage in that people are watching. And because people are watching, we should live for Christ. And we should, live our lives very carefully. And here God is likening our life and our Christian life to a race, telling us to run with patience the race that is set before us. And, I did run track when I was in 7th grade, so I know what it's like to run a literal race against other people, who are trying to run faster than you and trying to get to that finish line first. I know what that feels like, and it's intense, and sometimes, especially when it's really, really close, or when they're just a little bit ahead. You have to be patient and just keep running. Don't give up. Don't lose hope. You just keep going and try as best you can to catch up on that lead, and hopefully at the end you'll cross the finish line first. But look what God says here, kind of in the middle here, right? It says, let us lay aside every weight. When you're running a race, you want to be light. You don't want to be heavy. You don't want to carry extra burdens and make it even harder for you to run faster than the other guy, to excuse me, to get to that finish line first. I'm going to take another sip here. Hopefully ease my cough a little bit. Sorry about that. And, anything that will weigh you down will be a detriment to you. Excuse me. And here God is saying not just every weight, but he defines what that weight is in context of this spiritual application. He says, lay aside every weight and the sin which doth so easily beset us. And so when God is talking about weights that weigh us down, he's talking about sin. He's talking about the things that the devil is constantly trying to throw at us and trying to get us to stumble and weigh us down with. Can you imagine if you're trying to run a race and somebody comes by and gives you a big, literally like a weightlifting weight for you to hold, and then run with that and expect you to keep up with the other guy who's not carrying anything, right? Who would want to do that? Well, I tell you, Christian, when the devil's trying to tempt you with things that we're not supposed to do, that's exactly what's happening. that sin is going to weigh us down from doing what we need to do for the Lord. And why is that important? You go back to the first part of the verse. Because people are watching us. That's why. People are watching us. And this is why I believe it's referring to the people in our lives currently here on earth, not the ones who have gone before us, because people are watching us to see how we live our lives, and oftentimes weighing in their own minds whether this Christian race is worth running or not. And they're watching us to make that decision. And so we must be a good testimony for those who are watching, and stay faithful to Christ, and lay aside that weight and that sin that does so easily beset us, and run with patience because people are watching. Thank you so much for joining me today. God bless you. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you tomorrow morning. Bye-bye.